BMW C1. Picture this. You're riding a motorcycle in a full suit, no helmet, and nobody bats an eye. That's not a fashion choice. That's the BMW C1 doing its job. This thing looks like someone stole the front half of a smart car and welded it onto two wheels. It's got a roof over your head, a windshield, and seatbelts. Actual seatbelts on a motorcycle. BMW built a roll cage into it too, so structurally it behaves less like a bike and more like a very confused convertible. The idea was brilliant on paper, commuter safety without the bulk of a car. But riders looked at it and mostly said, "No thanks, I'll take the wind in my face and the helmet on my head." It quietly disappeared from production, but it left behind one of the strangest "is that even a motorcycle" debates in two-wheeled history. Yamaha Niken. Now imagine the opposite problem. Instead of a bike trying to be a car, here's a bike that decided one front wheel simply wasn't enough. The Yamaha Niken rolls up with two front wheels sitting side by side, and somehow it still leans into corners like a completely normal motorcycle. That's the part that breaks people's brains. You'd expect something with three wheels to feel like a go-kart, stiff and locked upright. Instead, riders describe carving through corners with more grip and more confidence, like the road just got stickier. Yamaha basically asked, what if a motorcycle had training wheels, but the training wheels made it faster instead of slower? And somehow it worked. Rokon Trail-Breaker. If the Niken is about grip on pavement, the Rokon Trail-Breaker doesn't care about pavement at all. This is the motorcycle equivalent of a mountain goat that also happens to float. Both wheels are powered, which already makes it a beast on terrain that would stop a normal dirt bike dead. But here's the part that sounds made up. You can order it with hollow wheels, fill them with gear, and the thing will actually float across water. Hunters and rescue teams use these to get into places no other vehicle can reach. Swamps, cliffs, dense forest with zero trails. It looks like it was built in someone's barn in the 1950s, and honestly it basically was, and they've barely changed the formula since because why mess with something this stubbornly capable? Track T800 CDI, from something that floats to something that runs on the same fuel as an 18-wheeler. The Track T800 CD holds a title most people don't even know exists, the world's first production diesel motorcycle. Sourced from a Mercedes diesel engine, this bike trades screaming high rev power for something closer to a tractor's torque curve. It's slow to rev, sounds nothing like a sport bike, and gets fuel economy that would make a Prius jealous. It was built with military and off-grid use in mind, where diesel is already everywhere, and gasoline might not be. It's proof that weird doesn't always mean flashy. Sometimes it just means an engineer looked at a motorcycle and asked, "Why does this run on the wrong fuel?" and then fixed it. Confederate FA-13. Combat bomber diesel engines are one kind of weird. This next one is weird because it looks like it drove straight out of a movie set. The Confederate FA-13 combat bomber doesn't look like it was designed by motorcycle engineers. It looks like it was designed by aircraft engineers who got bored one afternoon. Every surface is aggressive, angular, and intentional, like it's wearing armor plating instead of bodywork. It's built from aerospace-grade materials, which is a fancy way of saying this thing costs more than most cars and rides, like it's daring you to question that price tag. There's no soft edge on this bike anywhere. It doesn't try to look friendly, and it definitely doesn't try to look normal. Lit Motors C1. Speaking of things that shouldn't be possible, here's a motorcycle that refuses to fall over. The Lit Motors C1 is a fully enclosed electric motorcycle that uses spinning gyroscopes to stay balanced, even when it's sitting completely still at a red light. Picture a motorcycle that you could, in theory, just let go of while parked, and it stays upright on its own. It's enclosed like a car, so you're sitting inside it rather than on top of it, seatbelt and all, but under the skin it's still fundamentally a two-wheeler pretending to be self-sufficient. It never quite made it to mass production, which almost makes it weirder. It's a glimpse of a two-wheeled future that technically works, but never actually arrived. Uno Motorcycle. If gyroscopes keeping a bike upright while parked sounds strange, wait until you see what they can do when the wheels aren't even in the usual place. The Uno Motorcycle ditches the classic front and back wheel layout entirely and puts both wheels side by side, like a really committed skateboard. Gyroscopic stabilizers keep the whole thing balanced, and riders lean their body weight to steer it, almost like snowboarding on pavement. It shouldn't work. There's no obvious reason two wheels sitting next to each other should behave like a motorcycle instead of falling straight over. And yet it rolls, it turns, and it leaves everyone watching with the exact same question. How is that thing not tipping over right now? Monowheel motorcycle. Now forget two wheels entirely, because this next one only needs one. The monowheel is exactly what it sounds like. A giant single wheel with the rider sitting inside it, not on top of it. Designs like the Dynasphere and various Riesenrad-style builds turn this into something between a motorcycle and a hamster wheel with an engine bolted in. From the outside, it looks physically impossible, like the rider is just going to get flung around the inside of the wheel the second it picks up speed. And honestly, that's not far from what actually happens. Mono wheels are notoriously hard to control, prone to a phenomenon called gerbling, where the rider tumbles inside the wheel under hard braking. It's less a practical vehicle and more a century-old engineering dare that people keep accepting. Lazareth LM847. After a one-wheeled hamster wheel, here's a bike that decided one engine cylinder count wasn't nearly enough either. The Lazareth LM847 stuffs a full Maserati V8 into a motorcycle frame. And yes, it sounds exactly as unhinged as that sentence implies. It runs on four wheels instead of two, tilting into corners like a motorcycle while still planting rubber like a sports car. The engine alone is worth more than most people's actual cars, and firing it up sounds less like a motorcycle and more like a race grid coming to life. It's less a vehicle you commute on, and more a rolling argument for why the line between car and motorcycle was never as solid as everyone assumed. Dodge Tomahawk. And then there's the one that makes every other bike on this list look reasonable. The Dodge Tomahawk takes an 8.3-liter V10 straight out of a Dodge Viper and drops it into a motorcycle frame with four wheels set closely together, so it still leans and handles like a bike despite having double the wheels of a normal one. On paper, the numbers are almost absurd for something built this way. This is an engine designed to move a sports car, now tasked with moving something that weighs a fraction of that. Dodge never even claimed a real top speed, because frankly, nobody was going to actually push it that far. It exists less as a motorcycle you'd ride to work and more as a statement. Proof that if you give engineers enough horsepower and zero restraint, this is what rolls out the other end. So there you have it, 10 motorcycles that make you question what motorcycle even means anymore. Roofs, diesel engines, gyroscopes, V8s, a wheel you sit inside. Somehow it's all technically two wheels, or four, or one, depending on the day. Let me know in the comments which one you'd actually ride and which one you'd need a signed waiver for. If you enjoyed this, hit subscribe for more weird machines like these, and I'll catch you in the next one.